Hello, everyone. This is Cheryl Barrett. This is Pastor Cheryl. This is your motivational coach and your motivational speaker. Listen, I wanted to come to you today and I wanted us to have a conversation regarding fear and how to overcome fear. You know, fear is really just something that we come together, that we put together in our mind of an action, something that is supposed to take place in the future that hasn't even happened yet. It's those emotions that we have that we put together saying that something is going to happen, an outcome, an expected and anticipated outcome that is supposed to happen before it even does. And so what happens when we get to this place where we are experiencing some type of fear, when we begin to have some type of anxiety, what we begin to become stuck. And the name of this challenge is Emerge Now, Unstuck and Unstoppable. We want to get to the place where we are no longer sabotaging our experiences, where we're moving forward, that we're releasing untapped potential, and that we're experiencing a greater level of self-confidence. How does this happen? That is by us overcoming the fear of what is in the future, fear of what may possibly happen in spite of. You know, I like to put it this way. Sometimes we think about fear and we put our own lack of information onto something as if it is true. Sometimes we even override the facts. Many of you guys know that yesterday I took my children, if you watched day 6 of the challenge, I took my grandchildren to the Grand Canyon. And so we had a great drive through the desert and it was hot. How hot is it with where you guys are? Look, I think it was 116. And in the valley, in California, San Fernando Valley, I think it's supposed to hit 121 degrees. Oh my goodness. So you guys stay hydrated, make sure you stay indoors, and you stay cool. So I'm in Las Vegas right now, and it is hotter in California than it is here in the valley. So, there is there in the valley. So anyway, talking about overcoming fear. So I took my grandchildren to the Grand Canyon. So all of us are there, and what do you do when you go to the Grand Canyon? You have to ride that skywalk. That is that walk that is kind of like a U-shaped figure that extends about 70 feet off the rock of the Grand Canyon, and you walk on it, right? And you can look straight down, 4,000 feet down. So I didn't tell my grandchildren that I had been there before. My husband and I had visited, and I went to the Grand Canyon. And one of the things that we did, we had to ride on that sky walk on that sky U, right? I was afraid, but I wanted to do it. So what I did was, this is the first time, right? Because I did it twice. The first time, I went walking on that skywalk. Well, I told myself I wanted to do it. I got in line. I'm like, yes, I can do this. I can do it. So as I started walking, as I got closer to my destination, as I got closer to my goal, what happened is I started getting kind of scared, right? I didn't want to tell anybody, but I did. So I had to talk to myself, and I had to tell myself, you know what, Cheryl, you can do this. Come on, put your big girl pants on. Just boss up. You can do this thing. So I started walking, and I didn't tell my husband, right? And I'm walking because I have my goal that I want to accomplish. I get to right before you enter into the walkway. It's all made of glass. Fear begins to overcome me. Fear is what begins to hold me back and grapple me. And what I noticed is I looked around, and people who were already on that skywalk, they were afraid. Some were crawling on the ground, and I started laughing. I said, oh my goodness, they're crawling on the ground. So I said, you know what? Pulled up my pants. I said, I'm going to strut onto this skywalk. I'm going to handle this. Do you know I took my 5 walks in my strut? And I was overcome by fear because I was looking at the people who was on the ground. I was looking at the people who were all around me, who was scared. You could see it in their face. You could see it how they were moving. My knees began to shake and buckle. And then all of a sudden I found myself on the ground with them crawling. A grown woman. I'm in my years, right? Let's say the 50s on up. And I'm crawling on the ground like a little kid. How embarrassing is that? But So what I did is I said, okay, so I made it through. And I told myself, let me check that thing off. That's on my bucket list. I'll never have to do it again. So this time, my grandkids, we wanted to do something special. We wanted to broaden their horizons. So we said, let's take them to the Grand Canyon so they could see one of the 7 wonders of the world. Here we go. skywalk is coming back up. So I said, you know what? I'm going to handle my fear. I'm not going to allow something that I know that can propel me to my future to stop me. I know if I can overcome this, then I can do anything. And what I realized when we're talking about overcoming fear, there's two things that we need to do. One is you need to make sure that you are assessing the information. Is it your information that you're putting on top of the facts? Look, they tell me that the Skywalk can handle, what is it? It's like as sturdy as a 747 or something like that. Like if everybody was on a 747, that's how much pressure it could last. But why did I think that my information was better than what their information was? See, the first time I started to go on to the Skywalk, I started using my information. I started assessing and looking at the ground, looking through the ground, feeling the shakes, looking at the people. My eyes came off of my focus, off of my goal. The second time, which is what I believe we need to do, is to have our why bigger than our what. So for me, this time, my why was my grandchildren. We've talked about in the previous days in this challenge about leaving a legacy. My why this time was that I needed them to get that courage inside of them, because I knew that if they were able to do it this time, if they got that inside of them at this young age, that they can overcome their fear, that they can do anything in life, that they won't be hindered by fear, that they won't be stuck. And you know, we're stuck in our businesses, we're stuck as entrepreneurs. I mean, it is something that is not new to anybody, but yet we all experience it. And what I wanted to have was a learning lesson to where they can begin to see and feel their fear, right? Like, okay, what am I feeling like? My legs are starting to buckle. Okay, my mind is starting to have these conversations. Or how did they overcome it? They needed to learn how to overcome this thing. You guys know I'm in a hotel, right? I am unstoppable. I am not stopping this thing. We're going to continue on. I am committed to my 30-day challenge. So I have the kids up in the hotel room, and I've been walking around this hotel trying to find a quiet spot in order to complete my challenge. So look, unstuck and unstoppable. I am emerging and not letting anything hinder me, okay? So anyway, we have to have a commitment. We have to have our eyes fixed upon the goal. You know, too often what we do is we allow what we think to stop us. We override the facts. And what we need to do, all I have for you today, is to put your big girl, big boy pants on, pull them up, say yes, have your focus, know that what you're doing, as it was with my grandchildren, that we're leaving a legacy. And one of the things that I wanted to leave for my grandchildren, was the legacy of you can, the legacy of an achiever. You know what came to me, and then I'm going to end this, is that fear and our emotions, they are contagious. Have you ever walked into a room where everybody is so excited and happy and smiles are going on, and you walk into that room and you just feel happy all of a sudden? Even if you are mad, you just feel happy. Or let's do the vice versa. You walk into a room and you're excited, you're happy, and everybody is mad when you walk into that room. All of a sudden you start to feel down and your shoulders come down, right? And you're like, well, what's going on here? You feel, or two people arguing, right? You hear two people going at it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I stepped into something. See, it's contagious. Like, you feel it. We don't even have to say what it is. Well, I've decided that I want to be that light bearer. I want to be the one who walks into that room and turns up the volume, turn up the light. I want to be the one who changes the environment when I step into a room. If there is sadness, depression, anger, when I walk in, because of the light, because of the God that's inside of me, that I need to turn that situation around. And I want those who are following me, I want my grandchildren, those who I have a voice to speak into their lives, to be that same thing. Look, we set the temperature. We're not moved by that temperature. We do what we're called to do. We are unstuck and unstoppable. So if I have to give you an action plan for today, what I want you to do is, from now until the rest of the week, find ways to do things that you thought that you were incapable of doing. Find something, I don't know what it is, to where you can overcome a fear every day. That might be picking up the phone and calling somebody. Do you know that sometimes we don't even want to pick up the phone to call somebody because we already anticipate what they're going to say on the other side of the line? They haven't even said it. Sometimes it's not even what's going to happen. But find something, and then write it down in that journal. I would love for you guys to share with me and write it in the chat how you guys are going to win. How are you guys going to become unstuck? How are you guys going to move past what is trying to hold you back as that barrier so that we can be unstuck together? Listen, I want to go on this journey with you. I don't want to walk on it alone. Life is so much better when we are together. I believe in you. You were created for such a time as this. Your voice is necessary right now. What's inside of you is necessary right now. So let us, what do I say? Put your chin, your shoulders back, your chin up, your chest out, and you walk and you strut across your life. You become who you want to become, and you do all the things that's inside of you that is supposed to come out right now. I thank you right now for joining me. BC, I see you. You say you are riding with me today. Look, we pulling up our pants, we putting those shoulders back, and we are walking it out. And Drea, you've been with me all this time. I see you, Lynn. We are doing this thing. I can't see anymore right now. But for you who are on the line, I thank you right now that you have joined me, that you are riding out this journey with me, and together we're going to be unstoppable. I will see you guys tomorrow. You guys pray for me as I'm driving back through this hot road from Las Vegas back to California. And I will see you then. All right. Take care, you guys. Bye-bye.